Hello, Sensei Cisco here with another video for the CMA YouTube channel. Today we'll be discussing grappling in the form of wrist releases. If an opponent grabs you by the arms, how can you get your hands free to then escape or counterattack? I will be reviewing with the assistance of one of my junior instructors, Mr. Blake Moore. Mr. Moore?
I would recommend trying this at home cautiously. At the same time, it's a really good technique to work on.
I do advise taking some notes here. This way you don't forget anything. You can bring it into your instructors and ask some questions. The three techniques or releases that we'll be covering today are the snake, the hitchhiker, and the fulcrum. The three are as such. Snake will come around with a small circle. The hitchhiker will draw in, pushing in and out together to strip, and the fulcrum will turn and pivot inwards to the opponent to release the grab. I will take a look at each of these using both same side, cross side, and double wrist grabs. We have some variations in the way you can be grabbed, as well as some counterattacks that apply to that. Now the first technique we'll take a look at is the snake. I'll get a little closer so you can kind of get a good look here. The snake itself is going to work off of the pinky. We're going to attack the opponent's pinky here. I don't necessarily need to look at where I'm going. I always want to keep my eyes up towards the opponent, and instead I'm going to use my sense of touch. I can feel where his thumb is grabbing. I can feel where his palm is. This will tell me right where that pinky is. So when he grabs, I'm going to make a small circle around the wrist to come all the way back to center. Palm down at the end, up and press down. Just circling around the wrist. This is small. If I go big and I kind of come up over the shoulder, one, I could run into muscle. Here I'm trying to muscle through it and I'm just fighting him strong to strong. But if I am, say, stronger than him and I'm able to get that rotation, well, now he's just going to turn his whole arm around and twist his body. This has its own benefits as I continue my twists, and now I got him in a lock, but it might not be exactly what we want. Might end up that way, but for right now we're looking at just the release. For a quick release, make a small circle around the wrist. For a cross side, I'm going to do the same thing, coming up around the pinky and down. The difference between these two is the cross side is coming to my inside of my body first. I'm going to draw inwards since that's where his pinky is lying. For the same side, I'm going to cross outwards because his pinky is on the outside of the body. In either case, just follow the pinky line. For double wrists, well, they're both same side wrist grabs, so we can go outside on both. Think of it like you're diving into a pool. We kind of set up and dive into the middle. Set it up, dive it into the middle. Now, we can take a look at, well, what can we do after that? Once you have your release, what comes next? My first point of advice, just run. Honestly, getting away from the danger is goal number one. You're likely not to end up in a scenario where you'll have to do much more than that. But there are those cases in which you might. So, take for instance you are in a bathroom stall and you're being assaulted. There is no escape with the exception of the door that's behind them. So, when he grabs, I'm going to be looking at getting that free and then cutting through. So here we've got our release. I'm going to reach up to that shoulder that's exposed and give a little tug to make sure that his backside is turned towards me. Notice I'm also escaping towards his outside. I'm not waiting to twist and then running into that opposite arm where he could strike, grab, try and go for the outside. Let's say he's got a cross grab. Well, now I can use that similar principle going for the shoulder, only now I'll turn it into an arm bar and drive him down to the ground. Go ahead and switch hands. Cross side grab. Come up to the shoulder, roll and join to drive through. for the doubles, we can get our release. And well, now we're set up pretty well for a spear. Driving straight into the body. Or even switch out to our own grab and deliver a kick down the center. What you do is up to you. Think about your striking, grappling, trapping, throwing, the other principles that you've learned in class. Now, our second release is the hitchhiker. The hitchhiker, as opposed to snake that attacked the pinky, now we're going to be looking towards the thumb. So when they grab, the thumb itself has a bone that runs from the knuckle down towards the wrist. You should even be able to see a little bit where the tendon will poke up. This is our target. I'm going to look to strike on this point, pushing away from my own wrist as I pull inwards. So we're moving in opposite directions. Pull and push together. And this will strip the hand away. Draw up for same side. If I draw in, this is going to rotate that thumb for a downward strike to push them off. Rotate and press. Now, if you have an opponent that is very strong and they've got a tight grip, maybe it's not working too well. This doesn't take too much pressure. If you have the right point, he can grip as hard as he wants. I don't need a whole lot of strength to pop that release, so long as I'm moving in opposite directions of this line. Pressure and release. If I shoot too high, now I'm struggling and we're doing more of a muscle game. If it's taking you that long, ditch it, go for something else. Or you may be attacking the wrong position. Go for the thumb, quick release. On the cross side, here when we draw in, the angle is going to change slightly. His thumb is no longer pointed from up to down, it's from side to side. So I want to direct my strike in that same direction, pushing along the bone line. When I press, we'll push apart. Now this will look very similar, drawing up like an X, similar to your outside block. And you can come in even with a strike from there to get that release. Final being the doubles. Now, for double wrists, we have a conundrum. If I try and do two hitchhikers at the same time, I can't get my hand over there. And we're doing a muscle game. So I need to combat this with a little more thought. So I'm going to change my strategy. Instead of trying to bring my hands together, I'm going to bring my body in. So now I'm going to use his strength. Let his hands be where they are, and I'll rotate myself. By doing this rotation, I'm able to get a hand towards that wrist. Now that I'm able to peel, I can come across with an elbow to strike again on that joint and peel. Your strike doesn't have to be with a hand. If he gets a grab, I can take my knee and do the same thing. The goal is I'm just trying to hit this spot and peel. So for the doubles, wrist and elbow. And we've got the freedom. I also have the option of combining techniques. So I could take a snake to release the first hand. As I draw the second hand upwards, getting that pull for the hitchhike, set up for the snake, and then my snake release will combine with the hitchhike for 1 and 2. All right, let's take a look at some of the things we can do with this now. So, a counterattack, let's say for the same side grab, we can come in with a direct assault. We'll attack the joint, coming in close, and now I'll deliver some strikes, elbows, double punch, maybe a knee up to the groin, and deliver a punch straight into the solar plexus. For the cross grab, one thing I really like for cross grabs is that arm bar. We did it with the snake to get that release. But now we can do, say we'll pop, we'll roll to an elbow and draw it in. We could pop, turn into a round kick, to come up through the gut and strike the body. Or for the doubles, we can get our pops, 1, 2. While I have control of this wrist, I can draw across the body to take the knee and draw the neck and go for the takedown. Again, it's up to you. Think about your principles for grappling, throwing, traps, to develop a counter off of each release. There is no right answer, just more effective answers. Our last release that we discussed is the fulcrum. The fulcrum is going to take advantage of the pivot point of the grip. When he grabs, go ahead with the same side. Any grab is going to be done with 2 fingers. The real grip is from the thumb and the closest finger. In this case, it's his middle finger. So it's this pressure that's the real grab. The other fingers are merely support. They're not gripping so much as they're holding in place. For example, if we take the thumb away for a moment and he tries to grip, well, there's nothing there. I can easily slide on off. For the fulcrum, I'm going to use that principle of sliding out. Only if I try and slide out here and I try and pull my arm away, we're running into a lot of muscle strength. This is because he's got a wrap on his fingers. The thumb and 1 or more fingers are gripping. So what I'm going to want to do, feeling the direction his thumb is, I'm going to point mine in the same. Now notice, as soon as I did that, his thumb opened a little bit, but the wrap shrunk. So here, when he's gripped broadsided, he's got a wrap that's able to hold. But the moment I twist, that wrap shrinks. Now he's got less resistance. I'm able to pull away. Now that pull still took some muscle, so we're going to add 1 more bit to it. Now when we twist, instead of pulling away, I'm going to rotate around this point. I'm going to feel where his thumb is, and I'm going to bring my elbow around to twist on this position. So my arm touches onto his. Shrink his grip, rotate to touch. Now this is going to change slightly if he does a cross grab. In order for me to rotate, I can't really turn my elbow inwards like this. If I try and turn the thumb this direction, I'm just going to catch his thumb. So going horizontally isn't going to work so well here. Go ahead and reset. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring his thumb up. Now he's pointing past my elbow, or I'm sorry, past my shoulder. So I'm going to have my thumb point the same direction, past the shoulder, and I'll bring my fulcrum through the base. And I can get that same release. So same side, point, rotate. Cross side, point, rotate. Doubles, point, rotate. Or go 1 at a time. For 1, then 2. Now, of course, we want to look at what we can do next. For the same side, let's say we're going to get this pop, we'll rotate, all sorts of grips so we can face the camera there. We'll rotate here. Well, I'm set up pretty well for a straight strike to the throat, back piston to the temples. For 1, 2. But I'm still not using my backhand, so let's add that in there. Now when we get the release, I'll add a strike in with it, setting up very much like our low block. Let's make it a low block. 2 strikes to the groin. If he's got a cross grab, we're coming up. Well, his stomach's open. Pretty good. Gakuzuke. Well, I've got a good rotation here. Maybe I can come down onto the head. Rotating up and going for a nose. Drive a knee up to the groin. For the double, we get our 1, 2 pop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just start rolling, go into some boxing. If we get our double coming ups, drive up, come down to the head, and drive. Again, use your principles. What's most important here is our releases. Taking a good look at how each one operates. The snake coming through the pinky. The hitchhike pressing the thumb joint. And the fulcrum rotating around the grip. Point, thumbs in same direction first. But I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button.